Last night, during the Philly air disaster, we got some calls from friends of ours and some who were in the Philly area, and the resounding refrain was, "Oh no, not again! Oh God, no!" And it seemed, in many respects, worse by virtue of the fact that we could see the actual explosions via a Ring camera. Isn't that something? How the Ring camera has become the centerpiece for cataloging so much of what happens. Well, as you know, obviously at this point, the tragic, horrible plane crash, this fiery explosion, devastated Philadelphia on Friday evening. And let me just say something. Philly is a really interesting place. You know, there's Philly, there's Pittsburgh and Scranton, and there's all these other parts of the state. They're so different. But Philly it's tough. It is and I say that with all due respect to the great, as they say, Philadelphia, with their unique pronunciation. But we'll get that later. What happened was a Learjet 55 medical transport plane crashed into a very, very densely populated residential neighborhood 30 seconds after taking off from Northeast Philadelphia Airport. Now, it seems the aircraft, operated by Jet Rescue Air Ambulance, just not that it's worse, but this is used to ferry sick people. This was transporting a young girl who had been receiving life-saving medical treatment in the U.S., taking her back to her home country of Mexico, accompanied by her mother. Now, also on board were a doctor, a paramedic, and the pilot and co-pilot, bringing the total to 6 passengers. Now, the plane was en route to Springfield-Branson National Airport in Missouri before heading to its final destination in Tijuana. Now, the jet tragically failed to gain proper altitude and under still unknown circumstances crashed near the intersection of Roosevelt Boulevard and Cottman Avenue. And it burst into this massive fireball upon impact. The explosion caused several homes to catch fire, prompting chaos and an immediate response from local firefighters and emergency personnel. Now, video footage, which was captured by bystanders and Ring lenses, Ring cameras on porches and front doors, shows the harrowing, the incredible, horrible moments before the crash, with the plane plummeting from the sky, followed by a deafening explosion that lit up the neighborhood. Thick plumes of black smoke, the aviation fluid and the fire and burning and gas. I'm not trying to add to this, but I'm saying it's horrific. Olfactory, visual, sound, auditory. You can feel it, tactile, the heat. It's catastrophic. People that I know in Philly, we talked to, were freaked out, and it filled the air. Firefighters battling the rapidly spreading flames that engulfed multiple homes. So they had to deal with the original crash itself, and then the expansive, the metastasis, so to speak. Now, at least 6 individuals on the ground were treated for injuries at a nearby hospital, though there has been no confirmation of fatalities among local residents, as far as we know, as far as when I'm recording this for you. And authorities have not yet confirmed if there were any survivors from the flight, with Jet Rescue Air Ambulance issuing a statement expressing deep sorrow and stating they were unable to confirm survival at this time. As emergency crews continued their recovery and the various efforts into the night, residents were left in shock, some describing the scene as a war zone due to the magnitude of the damage. The NTSB has taken charge of the investigation, with an investigator arriving on the scene late Friday evening and additional officials expected to join the efforts over the weekend. The FAA is also collaborating on the investigation. Now, officials will examine flight data, maintenance records, cockpit voice recordings, all to determine the cause of the crash. And preliminary reports suggest investigators will focus on possible mechanical failure, pilot error, or other external factors that could have led to the plane's sudden loss of control. Witnesses reported that the jet appeared to be struggling shortly after takeoff, fueling speculation that a critical malfunction may have occurred. Now, meanwhile, the city has rallied to assist affected residents, with Samuel Fells High School serving as a temporary shelter for those who were displaced. Volunteers and local organizations have been providing food and clothing and emotional support to those who lost their homes or were impacted by the blaze. And the incident has raised questions about aviation safety, again, in view of what we've seen this week, particularly concerning small medical transport planes. But remember, these take off and land all the time, but now we're finding for the first time we're asking questions about this. With many Philadelphians grieving and anxious for answers, officials have vowed, of course, always transparency as the investigation unfolds. Now, as the city recovers from this devastating event, the community will await, obviously, findings from the NTSB to understand how such a tragedy occurred and whether future safeguards can prevent similar incidents. The thoughts of many remain with the family of victims. People will normally say, our thoughts and prayers are with these folks. But isn't it something? So close to this tragedy in D.C. And, like I said, the folks that our friends in Philly called with a sense of, I know this may sound crazy, they're coming after us. There's something not right. People are reacting to this very, very, very seriously. What are your thoughts, my friend? Your thoughts and comments. What do you think? What are your thoughts? Let us know. And comment. Comment below as you see fit.